Hi everyone. So I was having a little bit of technical difficulties, and I didn't get a chance to get the cards shuffled on camera because, well, I did, but I deleted the video. So I'm going to, and then I went through all of the cards and did the entire reading, and now I have to do it again. But that's okay. At least I know where I'm going now. So the overall energy, this was the card on the bottom of the deck, which is teach. And this is going to be a divine feminine twin flame reading. And the first card we have is the High Priestess, which is very beautiful. Oh, it's listen. It's the John, but it's it would be the High Priestess card in the traditional tarot. So that one ties right into the reading that I did earlier with the third eye chakra. And it's all about listening. Listening to everything that is around you. Listening to conversations, listening to your friends and your families and anybody that you might be in a relationship with, listening to words that you might hear in a song or on a television. They may be the answers to your prayers or the foundation for the answers to your prayers, or maybe Spirit is trying to speak to you that there's something that you might be missing, but if you would just listen. And this is so perfect because it really, if you look at this whole reading, ties right into the first reading and what we were talking about, and with the third eye chakra activating and listening. And third eye chakra is also about consciousness and having the answers within, divine answers, divine wisdom. And let me read that one. I want to read it. I'm going to read what John has translated for it. Take a moment to quiet your mental chatter and listen in relationships. It's important to pay attention to what the other person is really saying. Too often in conversations, you're already planning what you're going to say while the other person is still talking. You make assumptions about where the conversation is going and plan your part of the conversation accordingly, even working the conversation to a desired outcome. When this happens, you don't truly hear what the other person said, and in doing so, you weren't present for that person. So when I hear that, I hear the words, be present in the moment. Right now, you are creating the future. The future that you are looking so forward to is being created in this moment. So it's very important for you to slow down and listen to everything so that you don't miss the opportunities to create that beautiful, happy ending that you were looking for, or happy new beginning for forever. The rest of it says, listening starts with becoming quiet, centered, and totally present. Listening involves many senses. Use your eyes to see the body language of the other person. Use your ears to hear not only the words spoken, but also the tone used to express them. Use your intuition to get a sense of what the person is really saying and feeling. Intuition often helps you hear what is not said as well as what is said. This is crucial to understanding the person or situation. Understanding is essential to improving the relationship or situation. Remember once again to center yourself and use all of your senses to understand what is actually being communicated. Listening is a gift. Give this gift to your partner, parents, children, friends, co-workers, pets, and anyone you meet. Most important, give this gift to yourself. Tune into your mind, body, and soul. Are you listening? What do you hear? So take it one day at a time and listen. What is it that you are trying to teach me, Spirit? Which way should I go? Listen to those that you are in relationships. Hear what they're really saying. Sometimes maybe they may do bad things that are hurtful, but they are coming from a place of pain and hurt themselves, and they're not able to give you all of the love and support that you may need. And so you may need to just like forgive it and let it go and move past it. I'm not saying allow them to treat you any kind of way. I'm just saying that kind of be understanding and compassionate about where they're coming from. And so we'll move to the next card. And the next card is Heal. And look at him. He's in chains. And I like the fact that it was reversed. So it makes me feel like that the universe is coming down and freeing you. So a lot of divine feminines right now are being freed from situations that they felt trapped and stuck in, and freed from old limiting self-beliefs. So there's a lot of healing going on. And I want to read this card because I've never gotten this card before. You all didn't hear me, but in the first video I told you how I don't use these cards often. So they're pretty stiff. When I shuffled them, they were hard to shuffle. And I'm not that familiar with the cards. So I'm going to read this one. It says, keywords: forgive, offer, receive, serenity, hope, inspiration. A peaceful healing energy surrounds you right now. This is an ideal time to bring healing to your relationships and realize your hopes and dreams. This card could be presenting itself to ask you, isn't it time for forgiveness? Understand that no human being can ever be perfect. By accepting this, you're in a position to forgive yourself and those with whom you're involved. Forgive freely and without reservation, as blame and resentment are heavy weights to bear. By forgiving, you'll feel a weight lifted from your shoulders and become enveloped by deep serenity. You'll also give the gift of serenity to the other person. Don't just offer forgiveness, also offer your love and thoughtful insight. Open non-judgmental dialogues with others, sharing what you've learned and how you've grown. By doing so, you'll be encouraging others to practice forgiveness. With hope for the future, relationships can blossom. Please know, too, that by forgiving yourself and embracing a hopeful spirit, you also invite new relationships into your life. At the same time, be willing to receive the blessings that others have to offer you. Be open to their insights and guidance. Listen objectively to what others have to say and act upon that guidance. If it feels right for you, be receptive to divine inspiration as well. It surrounds you at this time. Heal yourself, heal your relationships, and be at peace. And this would be the Star card in the traditional tarot. So that is perfect. It goes right along with a little bit of what I was saying with listening and with the High Priestess card, and also ties into the earlier reading about forgiving and having compassion and love for one another, and especially having compassion for yourself. A lot of us are not very forgiving of ourselves and the road that we've taken and the decisions that we've made, and we look back and we say, well, I could have done this and I knew better and I could be further along, but maybe there were some lessons that you needed to learn, or maybe there were other people that needed to learn lessons, because we're all connected. And so this journey is not just about you. This journey is about everyone. So take a moment and listen and forgive and be compassionate with yourself and others, and create your now. Well, create your future in your now. The next card is Challenging Times. This card was not reversed. I accidentally did that. This card, Challenging Times. I'm going to read this one because I'm not familiar with it. Also, this is my second time reading it. I believe it would be the Five of Swords in the traditional tarot. But I want to see what John has to say. His beautiful insight. Human ego can be helpful when it provides us with a sense of self, value, and purpose. However, the ego can also lead to problems when it seeks to build up itself at the expense of others. That's what I was trying to remember. The third eye chakra also has to do with transcending the ego. So in this time, you're being given divine help to transcend the ego. And in this time where you're having this chaotic things happen around you, or things that seem like obstacles but really are just lessons to help you heal from the past, the universe is presenting that to you. And that's what I see when I look at this card, because I see him glowing. He looks like he has a halo, and there's a lot of crown chakra activity going on. And that's the universe helping him to move him forward. And he looks like a warrior moving through these obstacles, and he's definitely going to be successful. Because he's got the universe behind him. Everybody's conspiring to help him. And I also see that this is the feminine operating in her masculine energy with moving forward and taking the lead. And I'm being the first person to say, hey, you know what? This isn't right. I'm going to do this way. Or being the first person to say, you know what? I'm going to do what's best for all involved. Or I told my daughter the other day about if she sees something wrong, it's her responsibility to do something, even if it's not her. If it doesn't really have, if she sees something being done wrong, it's still your responsibility. You've seen it. Even if it really doesn't have anything to do with you, you have to say or do something. You have to, if you see something, pick it up. Do it. I'm going to finish reading that one. This card also sorry. It says, quarrelsome energies may be in the air at this time. You may find yourself either instigating disagreements or being pulled into them by others. Step back and examine the real issues behind the conflict. You may find that it's more about being right than it is about what is right. And that ties into the previous reading from earlier about doing what's right for everyone involved and not having to be right. I don't think I said that in the earlier reading about not having to be right, but you have to make sure what you're doing is right. And you don't always have to be right, even though some instances you may be right, but that is not the goal. That's not the intent. It's all about intention. The intention is to do what is best for all involved and to be loving and compassionate. You may also find a relationship to be more challenging than usual, sensing an underlying power struggle, even though surface energies appear to be to be calm. Use your intuition and intellect. Ascertain what's happening. While competition can be stimulating, it's disruptive to a relationship. You can avoid this by thinking before you speak or act, and by coming from a place of honesty and love. Oh my God, I just told my daughter that. We just went over that. I said, think before you speak. I also wanted to say that I think a lot of divine feminines, as you're transitioning, because this is all about transition too. As you're transitioning, you are becoming the new you. And so a lot of things, you're righting a lot of wrongs maybe. And you don't have to prove your point. The universe is behind you and is going to lay the foundation for you, and it's going to right the wrongs. But you still have to be compassionate as you're making this transition, because it's difficult for people to let go of the old. It's difficult because you get comfortable in the old, even if it isn't right. They get comfortable in being able to treat you and talk to you a certain type of way, or having things done in a certain manner. And we are letting go of that old patriotic type of thinking, and that old everyone for himself. And we're coming into a more loving union type of energy. And it's not just about the union between twin flames. It's about the union of all of us becoming one again, and knowing that we are one. So let's look at this one. Take the lead. So take the initiative, feminine. And that's another thing I see when I look at him, is that masculine energy, that assertiveness, that taking the lead. So this one I think is also a swords, would be a swords, take the lead. Number 3, we'll look that one up. I'm not familiar with pretty much almost all of them. Keywords: enthusiasm, initiative, grounding, creativity. So right now, and I've been eating a lot of, well, not a lot, but more meat than normal. I wouldn't eat, I really don't try not to eat meat at all, but I mean, I eat good stuff. And there's been a lot of grounding energy. You're laying the foundation. Strong energies for success are around you as new opportunities are opening up. Tap into this energy to fire up your relationships and bring you all that you desire regarding matters of the heart. Call down the divine flame to ignite your passion and show you the way to achieve your deepest wishes. Don't wait for the other person to make a move. Take the initiative and be bold. Yes. Now is not the time for the status quo. Use this beautiful, fiery energy to explore new possibilities. How can you spice up a current relationship? How about learning a new skill with your friends or taking that family member on a special vacation? If you're looking for a new relationship, think creatively and try new ways of meeting someone. Step out of your comfort zone and be a little daring. So right now, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm writing down like what I want, my desires, my goals, and that helps me to create that foundation. It's something I talked about with the loved one earlier because they were having a hard time seeing how they're going to get out of a hole, and some of us are having a harder time than others because we have only been doing a little work. Those of us that have been doing a lot of work, although you're still going to be going through a little bit of what seems like an uncomfortable transformation, it's not going to be as bad as you thought it might have been. It's still going to be kind of free flowing and easy. And even those of us that think that that is going to be super hard, if you can just make the transition mentally and stay in the now and know that you are loved and know that the universe has your back, you're gonna be able to see huge miracles. Because I feel like there's in this new energy, there's gonna be some quantum leaps happening, or what looks like quantum leaps. Anyway, because really all the while we've been doing all the work, but nobody's been seeing the fruit of that work. And so you're going to see things that look like they're huge transformations because we've been doing the work under the surface, and that's what quantum physics is all about. There's always action, but then there's this huge action that's going to take you and leap you forward into your destiny. And let's move on. Now, these two cards I pulled together. I pulled the Darkest Fears first, and I asked for a little more clarity on it, and I got release. So you are divine feminines releasing your darkest fears. I've had the darkest fears a couple of times before, and releasing. I don't think I read this one. I'm going to read release. I'm not going to read darkest fears because it's all about shadows and facing your fears, and it's a number 9 card. It's definitely about endings and leaving. Maybe I will read it. No, I'm not going to read it. And leaving those limiting beliefs in the past. And as I see these little 4 balls circling his head, that's what I see is like a lot of mental anguish, or a lot of mental activity as far as limiting beliefs and negative beliefs and things that don't serve you anymore being released. And if you look at him, he also has a halo, a lot of crown chakra activity, and that I see that as the universe pouring into him and pushing out that which no longer he has room for. And when you've got the universe pouring into you like that, there is no room for that negative thoughts. You got to make room for it. You got to let it go. And I see this release card as someone, look how he looks trapped, and he's coming into the new him, and there's still a lot more crown chakra energy, a lot of activity going on, and I just see the universe and all of this. And that's another thing I wanted you all to know. Although it seems like there's a lot of work to be done, all you have to do is listen sometimes, and sometimes all you have to do is acknowledge things. it may just be in the acknowledging of something that you can move past it, because you've got the universe really is pushing you forward. You're not doing this on your own. You've got the whole host of angels. You've got ascended masters. You've got everyone conspiring to help you to move you forward, and you've got everybody else is doing their work, and we all support each other. When you do your work, that helps me. That helps everyone. Another one is the throat chakra. That's the next one. So I was talking about that earlier. I got a lot of throat chakra going on. There's going to be a lot of communication and speaking your truth. And sometimes all you need to do is to speak your truth in love. And I think as a lot of divine feminine, as they were learning how to love themselves, they were in a space where they had to fight. And you no longer have to do that. Now you're coming into a space and time, an era, a transition where you're going to be more at peace and more at rest. And you're going to use your feminine energy, because blue to me represents feminine energy. And you are going to speak your truth in love. So that's why you got to slow down and think before you speak. And some of you might be speaking to your twin. Manifest. There's another, look like a masculine card. He's got his little box of tricks with him. And he's creating. And this is the feminine and new beginning. I'm looking at the number 1, new beginning. This is the feminine stepping into her masculine energy and creating that beautiful foundation, that happy 10 of cups scene that she wants to see. And we have to remember that we need to slow down, because we're creating now. We're creating the future. We're creating the future in this moment. And sometimes we're so busy looking to the future that we don't realize that we're missing the opportunities to create a better future, and maybe prolonging the beautiful scene that we desire to see in the future. I want to read that one, the Magician card, number 1. It says, keywords: act, create, focus, magic, clarity, intent. This is a time of great power for you. The Manifest card is here to tell you that anything is possible. You have all the tools at your disposal to create whatever you desire. You have a variety of tools that can be put to good use. So when I see that, we see the prior cards, and we see how the feminine may be feeling like she's going through some obstacles. Know that anything is possible. So in this moment right now, you can decide to let go of all this mental anguish. Let go of those negative limiting beliefs, to let go of the illusion that you aren't loved and supported, and know that you are. And in this moment, you can pay attention and listen to what the truth is, that you are loved and supported, and you can create anything. So after this, I'm going to get busy. The ability to love unconditionally, to support, to cherish, to listen, to understand, to forgive, to be kind, to be joyful, and even to be silly. All of these are useful tools in managing affairs of the heart. Take some time to determine what your best tools are, so that you can use them to work your own unique brand of magic around relationships. Before using these tools to manifest your desires, take some time to be clear on exactly what you want. A magician is always focused on his or her intent before working magic. You have the ability to manifest what you desire now, so take a moment so there's total clarity, because this 1111 gateway is going to be super powerful, and it's going to help to bring a lot of joy and peace and happiness, and some things will still continue to be exposed. What do you truly need and want? Is it in your highest good? That's another thing. Is it in the highest good of the other person? Will it harm anyone? Magic and manifestation are powerful. When you come from a place of love, you will generate love. Be clear, be honest in your intent, and take action to manifest your heart's desire. You have what it takes to achieve this. So do a lot of self introspection, because intent is so important. If you're coming from a place of hurt or fear or anxiousness, you're going to only create more of the same. Intent, intent, intent. And sometimes you don't, like I said, you don't always know what you have to do. You might just need to acknowledge what is. My feelings are hurt. I am scared. I don't know what to do. Angels help me. And they will. And they will. And you'll see miracles. And the last one is lead. And that's the emperor. I know that's the emperor. And take the lead. So it's very important. Maybe the feminine has been sitting back a little bit because maybe you are tired. I know you've been in this on this journey for quite some time, or maybe you haven't, but maybe you just have a lot going on and you're really tired. And I totally get that, but it's not time to rest in that manner. It's time for you to take the initiative and create your future right now. So now I'm going to do one card from the Rumi deck to help give us some support, some love, and tell us what the energies are. For the Divine Feminine. Tell us how the universe, because I feel like Rumi is representative of that Christ consciousness, that unconditional love, and the divine. I'm only doing one of these. They're pretty long. This one says, from nothing to everything. Oh, this is so beautiful. And it reminds me, because I was recently reading about Joseph and how he went from prison to the palace in one day. And I've been hearing quantum leap and quantum leaps forward and huge transition. And from nothing to everything. So beautiful. Look at that. All that love. Let's read it. 16. Okay, it says, oh, my friend, if you are longing to be written on, become a blank page. Have you been shedding your skins, your layers, your certainties? Gone are fixed identities and definite opinions. Keep casting those shackles aside, even if you fear you are releasing too much, and then perhaps you shall cease to exist. You shall only cease to exist as you have known yourself to be thus far. Another emanation of you awaits, blazing angel, something more beautiful and true. Yes, here you are at the pruning stage, like a gardener for the soul. Shall the garden spring back to life, or will the enthusiastic denuding process be rather too much and unintentionally kill off the garden altogether? Fear not. Your soul is made of hardy stuff. It can handle a lot of culling and will shine even brighter for it. There is a greater story to be impressed upon your essence than the one you are currently dreaming up. Though you are brilliant, no doubt about it, my angel of love, there is one who is even more so. The imagination of this great writer is beyond our comprehension. The stories that pour forth from that cosmic poet in every moment are so rich they inspire the creation of art and music. One such story is especially created for you. Yes, you, with the starring role and all the best supporting cast. You shall gasp in wonder, all glee and delight when you hear it. It is a great romance, a great adventure, with an ending truly spectacular and divine. Would you wish to hear it? Become attentive now. Put your own tales aside, as dramatic as they may seem right now, and prepare to be entranced by the greater storyteller, the living poet of the love, as you are entranced in a tale of your unfolding divine destiny. There are moments on the path of love that seem to focus on letting go of identities, of knowledge and certainty, of opinion, and even attempts to control. We may feel as though we are being stripped back to our core, and even then, perhaps further still, we may wonder if we can bear it. What shall, if at all, remain intact through these rigors? We may feel challenged at every time we attempt to become something great, as though we are blocked by circumstances beyond our control. Again and again, it is as though a greater hand smacks our wrists the moment we try to take hold of something firmly, someone, anything that brings on certainty and inner stability. Such are the rigors at an advanced stage on the path. We meet this challenge when our soul is ready for it. Why must it be thus? This is a sage question indeed. When we are asked to dispense with our story, the interpretations we have given to our life experiences over the years, we may not hear the request at first. We may vaguely note it, but not recognize the great divine source asking this of us, and so we do not give such an inclination due accord. We may persist with spinning our own tales instead. Oh, our mind may fancy itself to be a great wrangler of the word, impressed with its own judgments and declarations. Yet, in the light of comparison with the divine tale for our soul, all our fancies shall pass away, revealed as so very frail, like clouds dissipating in the sky. Perhaps we are graced with the realization there is so much more. Or perhaps we still don't get the hint and move into struggle as we try to enact what we think our story should be. We may hit obstacle after obstacle and create even more terror in our story. That life is such pain, a struggle, that success may not be for us, that we are forgotten and unheard. Yet we could equally choose to wonder if obstacle after obstacle, closed door after closed door, is just a prompt to look for the open window to climb through. And if so, instead of seeking to impose our small story upon the great truth, we can live the truth of our divine destiny. Then something magical happens. We participate through presence, along with the unfolding story of our soul journey. We open up to whatever is asked of us, presented to us, happening through us, as we choose each day to come alive as much as we can. Then, as if by magic, there is something else that occurs. That would be grace. Real, rich, dripping with goodness and sustenance grace. This is the sacred blessing that enables us to pay attention to opening doors rather than closing ones. The divine assistance that lets us know our life is proceeding according to a greater intelligence and plan. Once we stop thinking quite so much and live day to day, we will be blessed with the realization that our individual life story is so much more extraordinary and perfect than anything we could have summoned, even with our wildest imagination. This oracle comes with guidance for you. You are being asked to let go, to receive, to become empty, to be filled. This may mean letting go of attachment to a lover so you can receive genuine love. It may be of no longer holding on to a fantasy of your dream job, but of being guided into your most soulful and successful vocation. It may mean letting go of wishes for your body or health to be other than it is, so you can simply get on with living each day, taking steps into wellness without thinking beyond one day at a time. It is the divine paradox that when we are asked to surrender a story to fantasy, It is because reality is knocking at our door more often than not with the delivery of what we have been fantasizing about, but in the best way for us. The human experience of this paradox is that you may feel you are giving up hope, that your fantasy is dying. It may be very painful and bring you much grief, but all that is dying is attachment and opinion about how it must be. This needs to happen so you can stop dreaming and start living. This is what is happening for you now. Do not fear any part of your process. Embrace it without expectation, with trust in your heart that the divine is simply guiding you from fantasy into fulfillment. This is really beautiful, and it really hits home, especially for me, because I'm going through huge life transition, and it seems like everything in my life is changing at the same time. My career, my family compositions, my life, my marital status, my living place, everything is transitioning. It's like the old me has been stripped away, and it's like, who is this new woman, this beautiful woman that I see before me? And thank God that Spirit had been telling me and preparing me for this all along, because I would be crazy if I had to go through all of this and I didn't know that this was going to happen. I would be like, what the hell is going on? Are you serious? I don't know. But I'm not. I'm going with the flow, and I don't know all the answers. I usually have an answer. I usually have a plan, and they're like, well, what are you going to do? I don't know. The universe is going to guide me. It'll work itself out, and that's my answer. And let that be your answer, and be confident in it. Much love, peace, and blessings to you all, and see you soon.